that's the end of the stream, guys. You know, I'm about to relax and have spent time with my wife. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Peace out. Have a good night. See you all later. Cat, are you okay? Do you want, because I could toss some snack foods in the oven. Do you want the little pretzel bites with cheese in them, or do you want me to make the stromboli? I don't know, man. Okay. Anyway, we're done with that. We got to talk about our other big topic for this morning, all right? So, I was made aware of a situation that I am not happy with in any way, shape, or form, and you guys know me. I'm not one for drama. I try to stay out of drama. I want nothing to do with drama. All right. But as you know, upcoming during this summer, there's going to be a series of documentaries released by Joon the King. Okay. One of them is about me, and I'm going to live react to that one. But there's also one about Reviewtechusa coming up. And that one's supposed to come out before mine in early August. Okay. And so I announced, yes, I will do a long form react to that one. And you might say, well, why are you going to do that? Well, there's two reasons. Number one, because I haven't done a long form react in over a year. So it's good to have different kinds of content. And number two, because Rich from Reviewtechusa has been a heinous person towards me for the greater part of over a decade. All right. I literally have nothing to do with this man at all. I don't watch his content. I don't talk about him, but he literally nonstop talks about me. And of course, it's mostly in a negative light. It's always something he has to say to make him feel like he's better than me, right? And man, if only Phil had a brain for this or that, and always I'm doing something wrong, and always rolling with the memes about me and everything. And literally this guy has made a living talking shit about others for the past decade. Keep in mind, this is a guy who used to review tech, which is why his name is Reviewtechusa. But he doesn't do that anymore because basically no one cared about him doing that. But he only got views and clicks when he started doing drama content, like he's a TMZ Gossip Girl style channel on YouTube, right? And I have issue with the guy, and I've called it out over the years over and over. I don't support this kind of content. I think it's incredibly harmful. I don't think it should exist on YouTube to begin with. It certainly shouldn't be monetized, all right? But guess what? YouTube doesn't care. Toxic behavior continues. And the thing is, I made it clear over the years, I want nothing to do with this guy, right? I just don't. Yet he constantly tries to interject himself into my life. He's constantly talking about me. He used to come on my streams and try to derail the entirety of my streams. I had to ban him from all of my channels because he would keep coming back. I had to ban him from Twitter because he kept quoting me on Twitter, and then all of his idiotic viewers would start repeat quoting him and tweeting him, and I would get my entire feed filled with bullshit. This guy is the most immature dude. He would take dumb memes and shit, and I have to see them in my timeline. Like, I don't want to see your nonsense. I just want to fucking run my business. Leave me the fuck alone. And the thing is, I've told him time and time again, over and over and over about this. Said, I want nothing to do with you. I've tried to be civil with the guy. About a year and a half ago, you know, one of his kids was sick. And I actually reached out with an olive branch to the guy. And I said, listen, all beef between us, you know, aside, I'm really sorry to hear that when your family member there is sick, and I wish the best. I really hope that things go better. And he said to me at that point, oh, you know, that was so nice of you. Would you like to come on my show and talk with me and my editor? Yes, because this was before, I guess, he had the breakup with his editor or whatever. And I was like, I don't even know why he spun it that way. I was like, I don't know, you know. And then later that day, he goes on Twitter and talks shit about me. Later that day, he goes on Twitter and actually said nasty things about me. The day when I wished him well, that his daughter would get better, he actually went and talked shit about me the same day. And then I went back to him. I said, just so you know, usually the traditional way you respond to someone being nice to you and extending an olive branch is not to immediately go and attack them on Twitter. So goodbye. And I blocked him again, and that was it. And that's really the last time I talked to the guy. Okay? Anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is because, as I said, I am going to react to Rich's documentary. I don't follow this guy, But now I'm intrigued about his history. Where did he come from? How did he get into drama content on YouTube? Why did he go down this toilet? And what is all the controversy around him these days? I don't know any of it. I literally don't follow it. Again, he is up to his eyeballs in shit about me constantly. This is his content, to talk shit about me. But I don't know anything about him. So I think it would be fascinating, right, to actually watch this documentary, long form react to it, and learn about someone who has literally done drama content about me for 10 years in an educational way and respond very matter-of-factly to it. I think people are going to love this react because obviously I am in a prime position to react to this documentary about this man who has talked shit about me for over a decade, right? So, that being said, that's it. That's where I've left it, right? I haven't really talked about this at all. I just said I'm going to react to this guy's documentary. So, as usual, I know that he always talks shit about me or whatever. So, someone actually contacted me and said, just so you know, not only is he constantly talking shit about you, now he's gotten wind that you want to react to Joon the King's documentary about him. And because of that, he came out publicly on stream the other day, and he actually has threatened and attacked Joon the King. And I was like, what? Like, I thought, nah, this sounds like bullshit. This sounds like someone's going to send me a video of stuff that's out of context because they're trying to stir up drama, right? So I watched the video. Now, first of all, for clarification, no, it wasn't the raw video, but it was pretty much like an hour of unedited Rich being watched by two other guys. I guess it's those guys, Kino Casino or whatever. I've never seen them before. I know nothing about them. You guys have mentioned them in my chat before. So I didn't know anything about this. So it's like they're commenting on what he's saying and everything. And I'm just trying to like get the gist of what's going on. Okay. So I start to watch this video. I watched it last night. Okay. And literally what Rich is doing, first of all, Rich apparently has had a huge breakdown, which I didn't know. I guess he doesn't really make content anymore. And when he does, it's rare. And when he does, no one watches it. Like his channels are falling apart. He's got like no views. He's deleting videos en masse. He's losing subscribers. I know nothing about any of this. I'm not involved in it. I don't know anything about it, nor do I revel in it. Like I told you guys, I wish these people the best. I feel like if these people were having good lives, it would leave everyone else around them alone and wouldn't be drama queens trying to bring other people down. But the problem is they don't have good lives. So things fall apart and, you know, then all this shit happens. So I wasn't aware of any of this. Well, apparently this is all going on. You know, the Kino Casino guys were talking about it in the video. And basically he's on stream and you can see, if you look at his eyes, he is wasted. Now, I don't know if he's high. I don't know if he's drunk. I don't think he was drunk because he wasn't slurring his words or whatever. But this dude was like toasted, right? You can tell he was on something. And basically they start playing the part where he's talking about this upcoming documentary. And he goes like, Joon the King, he's making this documentary about me. And I don't understand because he didn't contact me. He didn't contact me to ask me anything in the midst of making this documentary, right? So now here's the funny part about it. I've said for many, many years, many documentaries have been made about me. And no one ever contacted me for any kind of information about one of them until Joon the King. He was literally the first person to ever ask me for my take on a few different things that he was researching, and he couldn't get a clear picture, so he wanted to get my take. And for the record, with the things that Joon asked me about, sometimes he would be like, okay, so your answer actually corroborates the information I found. And then other times he'd be very honest and be like, Phil, what you told me doesn't seem to be corroborated by evidence on the internet. So it's going to be presented as that you said this, but here's what I found. I said, you can do whatever you want. Go for it. Make it the most honest documentary ever. If I'm wrong or if I'm misremembering, it should be presented that way, right? So I appreciated that, but I get the feeling it's not going to make me look good. It's just not. It's not going to make me look good whatsoever because there's probably going to be things I misremember, heinous things I've done in the past, which I've already fessed up to. But, you know, that's life. You do things. It's like we all have our time in the firing line, right? We all did heinous things, and we're all in the public light. We're all going to have that negative light shined on us at some point, and you got to face the music for what you've done. Correct? So it is what it is. So Rich apparently is so upset, right? Because Joon is making a documentary about him, but Joon didn't contact him. to ask him specifically about certain topics, right? So as he's saying this, he's like, well, I'm just going to have you know that if he has something about a certain, I don't even know what he's talking about, because he's mentioning like specific drama situations that I am not into. I don't know what he's talking about at all. I think he mentioned something about like a Dropbox or Discord or something. You know what I mean? Like just random things he's referencing. The layperson has no clue what he's talking about. Like, what? I mean, I'm not in on this shit, right? But basically, he's referencing specific things, right? And then he goes, well, if he mentions any of those, I'm just going to have you know. Just listen to this. I'm not like Phil. I don't have a fake family. Okay? I'm not like Phil. I don't have a fake family. You know what? I took that personally. Yes, the me. I took that personally because I do have a real family. I have parents. I have a wife. I have a cat. And yes, you can joke he's my pet, but he's still part of my family, right? And I also have extended family and relatives. I have a family. Maybe I don't have direct children, human children, but I do have a family, okay? And I'm pretty upset that he would say that, like, because he has kids, he's basically better than me. I want you to think about that. There are people on Earth that think they're better than you because they chose to have sex and not use contraception and reproduce. Literally the easiest fucking thing you can do in life is reproduce. You don't even have to work to do it, and it feels good. You're tempted to do it because it feels so good. That's the whole idea, is to keep the human race alive. This is not a challenge. This is not a daunting task. Anyone can fucking reproduce. So to say that someone doesn't actually have a family because they didn't choose to reproduce is insanely stupid, insanely dumb, and insanely insulting. It just proves that the guy is a world-level dunce. Okay? Can't believe he would say that about me. That's incredibly, incredibly insulting to say that I don't have a family. Okay? So the reason he said that was, oh, well, you see, I'm not like Phil. I have a real family. And therefore, there's things that could be in this documentary, right, that would be very harmful to my children. And that's why I'm going to tell you right now, if certain things are talked about in this documentary, I'm just going to have to strike down Joon the King. That's what he said. He said, I'm going to strike down the video. Now, it's not clear what he's saying. Is he saying he's going to copyright strike it? Is he saying he's going to flag it for bullying or disinformation? He's not outright saying what he means, but he's essentially saying, I'm laying my intentions out publicly here right now, that if you talk about certain topics in this documentary, I am going to flag the video and have it removed from YouTube. Okay? He actually publicly laid out this intention. All right? Now, here's the thing. I can understand where Rich is coming from. He has kids, and he's trying to protect those children. Okay? I get that. The thing is, I don't talk about on stream, and they decide to try to slap it all over the internet. I certainly can't help that, right? If anything, that just shows how insane my haters are, because it has nothing to do with me, right? But anything that I actively choose to bring up on a stream, that's on me because I brought it up, right? For example, as you know, I've been having some personal issues for the past 2 or so years, and I haven't ever told you guys what they are, okay? I just tell you, sometimes I'm really stressed out, sometimes it screws up my schedule, you know, but you don't know what they are. But you don't know why? Because I don't want that to be part of my content. I don't want that to be a burden on my viewers. I don't want you guys to absolutely know every little thing that's going on in my personal life. Technically, it's none of your business, nor would I want to put that on you. You're coming here, all right, in order to have fun with me and have a good time with gaming. You don't want to hear my constant sob stories about bullshit going on behind the scenes. I shouldn't put that on you, right? So I don't. Apparently, what people are saying is Rich has. Like, has brought up his family. He has brought up his kids and everything. And because of that, that's why it's in the drama sphere of talking about this guy. All right? So if there's literal facts on the internet about someone because they chose to expose that to the internet and bring it up, Why would that not be fair game for a documentary? All right. Now, here's the thing. If you feel that that information is harmful or is not true, because why would it really be harmful? Unless it was true and it exposes something bad that you've done, in which case just fess up and move on. Or if it's not true, then you need to debunk it, correct? So if that's the case, if this is a big deal, if the documentary comes out and has information in it that's misinformation, react to it. Expose the misinformation. Explain why it's misinformation. Add corroborating testimony or evidence, or if you can't do evidence, because I understand. Listen, firsthand, I'm someone who can understand where Rich is coming from in some of this, because there will be things coming up in the Joon the King documentary about me, about finances and personal information behind the scenes that I've been legally advised not to talk about. And I know that if I ever expose my own personal information to defend myself and clear my name, it would lead to people being able to harm me in other ways. And after weighing and balancing the situation, I would much rather just have people talking about one stupid thing that's not true and believe it than then get into 10 other things that have nothing to do with it, but then they're able to harm me for the rest of my life. I'd rather have this over here, the devil I already know, than the devil I don't. You understand? So maybe that's the situation or whatever. All right? Maybe he's afraid that if he defends himself from certain accusations, he'll expose himself even further. That I can understand. All right? But the truth is, it's fair game. And especially from someone like Rich. Rich is someone who for the last decade has made a living by talking about other people's dirty laundry. This is not a man who reviewed tech for the last 10 years. And all of a sudden now, out of nowhere, he's being drawn into the drama sphere. He literally made a living on drama for a decade. Now, all of a sudden, the camera has been turned back at him. And he's like, wait, no. What do you mean, wait, no? It's your turn, bro. You're the one who had the camera on everyone else. Now it's your turn to go through your dirty laundry and have your shit exposed. It's only fair game. And if you don't like it, tough shit. You already made your bed, and now you gotta fucking sleep in that shit-infested sheets that you've created. That's what happens, man. That's life. So now you gotta live with it. That documentary is going to come out, and you're gonna have to fucking live with it. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's no amount of threats or fake warnings or anything you can say and do about to this guy. Are you out of your mind? Do you not think that if you hit Joon the King with false copyright strikes or false takedown requests, that the internet community is going to rise up against you? You want to talk about bad karma now? Imagine what happens. You've already declared your public intentions to do something heinous. If it happens, everyone's going to blame you. I mean, so anyway, that's only one thing. Like, no lie, in this clip that I watched, Rich literally, like 10 times keeps saying things like he's better than me. Oh, you see, but I'm not like Phil, and I'm better than Phil, and this and that. He keeps saying it. I'm like, wow, this guy genuinely believes that. Like, he doesn't understand that the only reason he ever had a modicum of popularity on the internet is because he's a drama queen who rode on the backs of other people's misery. He doesn't get that. He actually thinks he made meaningful content for people. He's lost. And now what the thing is, now again, it has been turned back against him. And now he can't handle it. This is a guy for 10 years. All he did was bring down others to get ahead and make money. And now that he is the target of that kind of ire, he can't take it. He's literally saying, oh, leave me alone because I have kids. What? Because you have kids, because you reproduced, we all have to forgive you and just say, oh, you don't get your time in the spotlight? Oh no, that's not how it works. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's actually the opposite now, because you were the person for 10 years who acted like that. Now you're going to get it worse than everybody else. You understand? So anyway, yeah, the way I see it is I just don't understand where he's coming from. It sounds to me like he's just high off his ass and he's talking shit. But the fact that this guy is literally just going down in flames, saying all this stuff about me And then about Joon the King. Joon the King, like, I don't know, but besides LTG, who really got upset with Joon the King's documentary about it. For those who don't know, many years ago, Joon the King did a documentary on Low Tier God. And the reason that Low Tier God got upset is because Joon the King basically exposed his real name and information about where he used to be located. Low Tier God was like, oh, he doxed me. But the truth is that information was all publicly available. That's how Joon the King got it. Joon the King didn't do secret research and hack accounts. It was all on the internet. So all he did is he compiled public information that was on the internet and he presented it in his documentary. And LTG got so upset with him that, number one, he called upon his fan base to attack Joon the King and do whatever they could to bring down the videos or whatever. But number two, he actually doxed Joon the King. Because what happens is when you hit someone with a false copyright strike on YouTube, you have to dispute it to get it cleared up. So when Joon disputed it, it put out his personal info, and then LTG used that personal info to actually attack Joon. So Joon, has been through this ringer, and he is widely regarded as someone who vets his information. At least what he's going to present in his documentary is going to be publicly discussed information, okay? He's not going to go and literally make up a rumor, all right? For example, all right? There's been tons and tons of rumors about me, all right? And some of them likely will be discussed in the documentary if there's some kind of evidence or at least some kind of corroboration. There's other rumors about me that have absolutely, positively no merit whatsoever, all right? And Joon actually told me, he's like, just so you know, there's some pretty nasty stuff about you out there that's I know is not true. There's no information about it anywhere, and I'm not going to bring that stuff up because there's no point. And I was like, that's nice of you. Now, I know there's going to be tons of stuff that's going to be bad, right? That's true. Or at least some people think it's based on a nugget of truth, right? But for him to say, I'm just not going to cover the shit that I know is fake. Like, for example, these idiots say things like, oh, I groomed my ex-girlfriend, that I knew her before she was 18, and I basically groomed her for years, and then, you know what I mean? Completely untrue. Never even spoke with her until she was of legal age. In fact, she contacted me when she was of legal age, okay? And so he outright said, I'm not even going to entertain that shit. There's no point. So there you go. So that's the kind of guy he is. And by the way, Joon the King is not going to try to do months and months of content after the fact of one of these documentaries coming out. You know what I'm saying? Like, his goal is not what Turkey Tom did. What Turkey Tom did is he made a documentary, and then he said, well, now can I stir the shit, and how can I milk the situation for months on end? Can I get an interview with Darkside Phil? Can I get Darkside Phil to get on the Lolcow podcast? Can I do this? Can I do that? You know what I'm saying? That's not what Joon the King does. He literally is just making his documentary, puts it out, and says, here it is, and then he moves on. He's on to the next. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I respect the guy. That's why I think that his content, if you're going to watch something covering someone on the internet, you should be watching someone who's like that, who's trying to literally be a neutral party, as opposed to someone who came in with a preconceived notion to create drama. So now that you've created the drama, you can milk it and get benefit from it, right? So there you go. So that's why I'm looking at this situation. Like, of all the people that Rich would be upset about, right? I just think that's just insane. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the other thing, too. There's one final point that I will make about this whole situation, and then we'll move on. If Rich was so concerned with his kids somehow being, dragged through the mud, okay, then what Rich should have done many years ago was realized that his content was going down this bad path, okay? He should have said, oh, wait a minute. Literally, I'm just making drama content. I'm talking badly about others. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. The moment that someone asked him to take his shirt off, the moment that someone asked him to pull out a cucumber, to kiss a chicken, the moment that stuff started happening, he should have been like, wait a minute. I have kids. What am I doing? I can't be doing this. This is going to be the legacy of me that will be on the internet forever. I can't have this kind of stuff out there. I have kids. I have to think about them, right? He didn't. In fact, he leaned into that. He leaned into the extreme content. So now the internet knows him as that. And now that it's blowing up in his face because people are finding things about this, right? Now he's worried. It's like, dude, you weren't worried about your kids, because if you were, you never would have made that content years ago. Okay, I have a little saying for everyone out there on the internet. Are you ready? You ready for this? This is for everyone out there who wants to lean into lol cow culture. I have an important announcement. Spread this, clip this, and spread this around YouTube and the internet. Are you ready? Once you put on the clown makeup and you start the clown show, the makeup doesn't ever wash off. You're a clown forever. It doesn't matter how much you try to change or how much you try to spin it, you're still a clown. And that's all I have to say about that. So, Rich, stop threatening people. You have no right to do so. If you have an issue with an upcoming documentary, watch it when it comes out. Respond to it, like I will to mine. If you find information there that is messed up, dispute it. Refute it. Give opposing testimony or give evidence. If you can't give evidence, I understand. I'm in the same boat. But at least be reasonable. Don't make threats. Don't do things that you're going to regret, because the internet is not going to forgive if you do stuff like that. You understand? Like, if you take someone who's a legit, respected content creator and now you're threatening them because you think that it's going to save you and your family, dude, you made the bet already. You're stuck in it now. You have to live with it. You have to find a way to persevere. And I hope you do, actually. In truth, I hope Rich does persevere over this, because he does have a lot at stake. He does have a family that relies on him, and he has to find a way to make it work. What he's doing right now is not working, okay? It's not at all. It's the opposite of how someone should act if they actually are taking this seriously and want things that are to be better. You don't make threats. You don't do awful things like this. You have to man up and say, okay, you know what? It's going to come out. I'll watch it. I'll react to it myself or whatever. And there you go. And that's that. Okay? That's my take on it. Everyone, Darkside Phil here. The only detractor channel that I watch is Doody Streams.